Ever feel like you're just different? Like you're seeing the world through a different lens than everyone else? You might just be a Sigma and not even know it. Don't roll your eyes just yet. This isn't about slapping labels on people or putting anyone in a box. It's about understanding why you feel like the odd one out sometimes. Most Sigma men don't even realize they're Sigmas. They just know they're different, and they can't quite put their finger on why. Maybe you've always been comfortable doing your own thing, or you've noticed that you don't quite fit into the traditional alpha or beta male categories. Perhaps you've been called mysterious more times than you can count. These are all signs that you might just be a Sigma male. So, without further ado, here are 8 clear signs that you're a Sigma. Number 1. You don't fit into any social hierarchy. Social hierarchies just don't make sense to Sigma males. Whether it's at work, in social circles, or even in family gatherings, you've always felt like an outsider looking in. It's not that you can't play the game. You understand the rules well enough, but you just don't see the point. The whole idea of jockeying for position or trying to climb some invisible ladder seems absurd to you. You're not interested in being an alpha, constantly fighting to be on top, but you're not a beta either, happy to follow along with whatever everyone else is doing. You're your own category entirely. This independence can be both liberating and isolating. On one hand, you're free from the pressures of conformity. You don't feel the need to impress anyone or fit into a specific role. You do what you think is right, regardless of what others expect. But it can also make you feel like you don't quite belong anywhere. You might find yourself drifting between different social groups, never fully integrating into any of them. At work, you're the wild card. You respect the chain of command when necessary, but you're just as comfortable challenging the CEO as you are chatting with the intern. Your ideas and opinions are based on merit, not on who's saying them. This attitude can ruffle feathers. People might find you unpredictable or hard to pin down. Some might even see your refusal to play by the rules as a threat. But for you, it's simply about being true to yourself. You're not antisocial. You just prefer authentic connections over artificial hierarchies. You judge people based on their character and actions, not their status or position. And that's a clear sign that you're a Sigma. Number 2. You're allergic to small talk and office gossip. Small talk makes you cringe. Weather chat, weekend plans, office gossip. It all feels like a waste of time. You'd rather dive into deep conversations or just get straight to the point. It's not that you're shy. You can charm people when needed. But the idea of chatting just to fill the silence feels fake to you. You prefer meaningful discussions that challenge your thinking or teach you something new. When it comes to office gossip, you avoid it like the plague. You don't see the point in talking about other people's business. It feels petty and unproductive. When coworkers try to rope you in, you usually find a way to change the subject or politely excuse yourself. This aversion to small talk can make you seem aloof or even rude to some people. They might think you're not interested in connecting with others. But that's not true. You just prefer quality over quantity in your interactions. You've probably been called mysterious more than once. People find it hard to get a read on you because you don't engage in the usual social rituals. You keep your personal life private and don't feel the need to share every detail of your day. You're all about efficiency at work. You prefer email to lengthy meetings. When you do talk, it's usually about ideas or solutions, not office politics or weekend plans. This trait can be both a strength and a weakness. It helps you stay focused and productive, but it can also make it harder to build relationships in social settings that rely on small talk. Your actions speak louder than your words. You'd rather show your care through your work or by being there when it really matters, not through constant chatter. This dislike for superficial communication is typical of Sigma males. It reflects your independent nature and your focus on substance over social norms. Number 3. You're brutally honest, even when it hurts. You've never been one to sugarcoat things. When someone asks for your opinion, they get the unvarnished truth, It's not that you're trying to be mean. You just see no point in dancing around issues. As a Sigma, you value authenticity and efficiency above social niceties. This honesty can be refreshing to some and off-putting to others. You've probably had friends thank you for your straight talk, while others have accused you of being too blunt. Your Sigma nature makes you less concerned with fitting in or pleasing others, allowing you to speak your mind freely. You don't shy away from difficult conversations. If a friend's relationship is toxic, you'll say so. If someone's idea at work is flawed, you'll point out the problems. It's not about being right. You just believe that honesty saves everyone time and trouble in the long run. This trait often puts you at odds with social niceties. You struggle with small talk and find it hard to fake enthusiasm for things you don't care about. Office politics and social games are not your cup of tea. As a Sigma, you're more focused on substance than surface-level interactions. Your honesty extends to yourself too. You're quick to admit when you're wrong or made a mistake. You see no shame in acknowledging your flaws and working to improve them. This brutal honesty can be a double-edged sword. It's earned you respect from some and made others wary of you. You've probably lost a few friendships or potential relationships because of it. But at the end of the day, you sleep well knowing you've always been true to yourself and others. You'd rather be known for your honesty than liked for a false persona. Number 4. You're a natural leader, but hate the spotlight. You've got a knack for taking charge, but you're not in it for the glory. When things need to get done, you often find yourself stepping up without even meaning to. It's like people naturally look to you for direction, but you're not trying to be the center of attention. In fact, you'd rather avoid it if you could. Unlike typical alpha males, you don't crave the spotlight or seek out leadership roles. Your leadership style is more subtle. You lead by example, not by barking orders. Your actions speak louder than words, and people respect you for your competence and integrity. When you do take charge, it's usually because no one else is stepping up. You see what needs to be done, and you do it. Simple as that. This low-key approach to leadership can confuse people sometimes. They might wonder why you're not more vocal or why you shy away from official leadership titles. But that's just not your style. As a Sigma, you value competence and results over status or popularity. You prefer to work behind the scenes, quietly steering things in the right direction. When praise comes your way, you're quick to share it with the team. This blend of natural leadership and dislike for the spotlight is one of the clearest signs that you're a Sigma. Number 5. You're often lost in your own thoughts. Your mind is always buzzing, even when you're quiet on the outside. You're often caught daydreaming or deep in thought, lost in your own world. This isn't just idle daydreaming. Your thoughts are a mix of analyzing past events, planning future moves, and exploring new ideas. You're constantly turning things over in your mind, looking at them from different angles. Sometimes you're so absorbed in your thoughts that you miss what's happening around you. Friends might joke about your tendency to zone out mid-conversation. You've probably been accused of not listening more than once. But when you're focused, you're really focused. You can spend hours diving deep into a topic that interests you, losing track of time and everything else. This inner world is rich and complex. It's where Sigma males do their best problem solving and come up with their most creative ideas. They often prefer this mental playground to the noise and chaos of the outside world. Their thoughtful nature means they're not quick to speak or act. They like to mull things over before making decisions. This can frustrate people who want immediate responses, but it usually leads to better outcomes. This tendency to get lost in thought can make you seem mysterious or even aloof to others. They might wonder what's going on behind your quiet exterior, but it's just how you process the world. You need this mental space to recharge and make sense of things. It's where you feel most like yourself. This reflects your independent nature and your ability to find fulfillment within yourself, rather than constantly seeking external stimulation or validation. Number 6. Trends don't dictate your choices. Trends come and go, but you stay true to your own path. While others scramble to keep up with the latest fads, you're perfectly fine doing your own thing. It's not that you're deliberately trying to be different, but you just don't see the point in following trends for the sake of fitting in. Whether it's fashion, technology, or lifestyle choices, you make decisions based on what works for you, not what's popular. Sigma males are independent thinkers who trust their own judgment. They don't need the approval of others to feel confident in their choices. While they might appreciate some aspects of popular culture, they're not swayed by it. This independence shows in various aspects of your life. Maybe you stuck with your old phone because it still works fine, even when everyone else upgraded. Or perhaps you prefer classic styles over fast fashion. You might even have hobbies or interests that others consider outdated or unusual. Your choices often puzzle people. They might wonder why you're not jumping on the latest bandwagon or following the crowd. But for you, authenticity trumps popularity every time. This doesn't mean you're completely oblivious to trends. You know what's happening around you, but you just choose to engage only with things that genuinely interest or benefit you, regardless of their popularity. If a trend aligns with your values or needs, you might adopt it. But it's because you chose to, not because everyone else is doing it. Your resistance to trends extends to your opinions and beliefs too. You form your own views based on research and personal experience, not on what's trending on social media or what influencers are saying. This trait can sometimes make you feel like an outsider. When everyone's talking about the latest craze and you're not interested, it can be isolating. But it also gives you a unique perspective and the freedom to explore your own interests without pressure. Number 7. You often disappear from parties without a word. One minute you're at the party, the next you vanish without a trace. But you're not being rude. You just don't see the need for a drawn-out farewell. This habit often baffles your friends. They might wonder if you're upset or if something's wrong. But for you, it's just a natural exit strategy. When you feel your social battery draining, you slip away quietly. Sigma males are not big on social obligations or keeping up appearances. If they're done, they're done. No need for long goodbyes or promises to catch up soon. They prefer clean breaks to awkward lingering. This tendency to disappear isn't limited to parties. They might go off the grid for days or weeks, focusing on their own projects or just recharging. Their sudden departures aren't about disliking people. They can enjoy social gatherings, but they have a limit. Once they hit that limit, they're out, no explanations needed. This behavior can be frustrating for some. They might see it as flaky or antisocial, but those who know you well understand it's just part of who you are. You don't need constant social validation or fear of missing out. You're comfortable with your own company and don't feel the need to explain your actions to others. Number 8. Rules feel more like suggestions to you. Rules are there for a reason, but Sigma males can't help seeing them as flexible guidelines rather than rigid laws. They're not rebels without a cause. They just believe in questioning why things are done a certain way. When faced with a rule, your first instinct is to ask, why? If the reason makes sense, you'll follow it. But if it seems arbitrary or inefficient, you're not afraid to bend or break it. This attitude often puts you at odds with authority figures. Teachers, bosses, and even friends might label you as difficult or defiant. But in your mind, you're just trying to find the best way to do things. You're not interested in breaking rules for the thrill of it. You just evaluate each situation on its own merits. If following a rule leads to a better outcome, you'll do it. But if bending it gets better results without harming anyone, that's the path you'll take. This approach allows you to find innovative solutions and challenge outdated practices, but it can lead to conflicts and misunderstandings with those who prefer strict adherence to rules. Your flexible view of rules extends to social norms too. You're not bound by conventional expectations of how to live, work, or interact with others. You forge your own path, creating your own set of principles to live by. You respect the spirit of rules more than their letter, always looking for ways to improve systems rather than simply maintaining them.